All right, y'all. Um, let's talk Street Fighter 6. The game came out June 3rd. For us late bloomers, everybody else, the game came out sometime in 2021 because they didn't have to crack beta forever. But we're not gonna get into that. All right, we're not even gonna talk about that. All right, I want to talk about this Haitani tier list that was released. I don't know, let's say a few days ago, and it's kind of an updated list from Japan. If y'all don't know who Haitani is, he's one of the best fighting game players really of all time. But we're not going to talk about that either because that's not what this video is about. This video is about the order of this tier list. And look, I know I'm a casual gamer. All right. So I'm not going to get into whether this tier list is right or wrong. But I do want to, well, I guess I will get into whether this tier list is right or wrong because I got some gripes with this tier list. All right. So I won't start from the bottom and work my way up. Pause. Um, I actually don't have a problem with this C tier, Zangief and Lily. I feel like if you're gonna play either of those two, you have to work harder than probably anybody in this game, and I would argue that Dalzim is in there with them. Um, and if you want to make a C plus tier, as he has it, I think it's all the same. You know, if you're playing Zangief or you playing Dalzim, I don't think you get to say this game is easier for Dalzim than it is for Zangief. It is what it is. But let's talk about Ryu. I want to focus on the people that I feel don't fit where they've been placed in this tier list. I think the characters I feel like whether it's a objective, is it subjective or objective? Subjective opinion of the character and where they're placed in the tier list. Ryu does not have to work as hard as Dalzim, Zangief, and Lily. He does not belong in the same tier list as them. I would argue that Ryu is hovering somewhere in the A tier. He has this game. This game comes to him just as easy as it comes to y'all not gonna like this, but Ken and Luke. All right, okay, I get that Ken and Luke have advantages Ryu doesn't have, but essentially he's hovering in that same boat. Now, um, the reason I say that is because he has all the tools to fight every matchup. I don't believe Ryu has a bad matchup in this game, whereas Dalzim has bad matchups, Zangief has bad matchups, and Lily has bad matchups. Bad matchups. What's a bad matchup? A bad matchup is where round one fight you're at a disadvantage. Zangief cannot get in on people. Try as he may, he just doesn't have the tools. Now, I don't really know what kind of tools you could give Zangief because he's a grappler. Once he gets in, all that changes. But he does have to struggle to get in, and he does have armor, but it's not armor like Marissa, which we see down here at the beginning. And I could use my mouse, but, I don't even know if y'all can see my mouse. And you know what? Honestly, I don't care. Marissa, to me, in my personal opinion, who I love Marissa, is that a pause? You know what? Pause. Hey, let's throw it out. I love Marissa. Marissa, this game comes very easy to her. She does not belong in the B tier. She is hovering somewhere in the A or S tier. But nobody's gonna talk about that because she can't get off the ground. But because she can't get off the ground does not change the fact that she is, dare I say it, broken. The frame advantage she gets from just charging buttons, knowing that you won't hit a button because she can release it at any time, and she still has a drive impact just like you have it. She has a parry just like you have it, and she has a command, a parry into a, well, I'm gonna call it a counter. We're gonna call the universal tool a parry. I'm gonna call hers a counter on top of her parry that she can switch to a high, low, or throw. I don't believe that she belongs anywhere under A or S tier. All right, and that's just how I see the game in the long run. Um, I don't really mind where Kimberly is because I feel like gimmick characters are always going to kind of just float in the mid range in the middle of the pack, however you want to see it. So who's a gimmick character? I say JP's a gimmick character. I say Kimberly's a gimmick character. In a way, Dalzim is. Or the way Capcom wants you to play him. Unless they speed up Dalzim's jumping, hard punch, and hard kick, I think he's in trouble in this game. And everybody's jumping, hard kick, hard punch is slow in this game. I struggled with timing jump-ins on this game. And I've never struggled with timings, jump-in timing on a Street Fighter game. But this one, even in the beta, I played the last 2 betas, can't time a jumping, hard punch, hard kick. I just stick to the mediums because they come out in the timing that I'm used to. Anyway, I feel like Kimberly is where she belongs, in B tier. In the B plus, B minus, all that, well, B plus, regular B, A, all that. I don't really care about the plus or minus. I mean, if y'all really want to get into that, we can make a video on just like being really specific on where they belong. But if you want to look at it like this, I kind of see A, B, C. Well, in Japan, yeah, best. S, A, B, C is more so. S is like broken. A is really good. B is decent. Decent being good, but decent. And then C, you know, basically they need something. They need some buffs to even compete with the rest of the roster. So when I say B tier, this is a good, decent tier. You know, these characters can be played. You know, I mean, they can win matchups that they shouldn't, but they have to try a lot harder. And speaking of that, E Honda, I feel like E Honda is really high tier. It is a very balanced game, but just looking at this list, I believe E Honda belongs above JP. I believe he belongs above Manon. It's kind of hard. I really can't wrap my mind around how Manon fits in the tier list, because 90% of where Manon fits in the tier list is you. You as a player. You as a player decide whether Manon is A tier, S tier, or C tier. So we're gonna get to her when we get to her. So for E Honda, I believe he belongs more so in the A tier, more so than the B tier. But you know, maybe people have found out how to parry that headbutt. But the perfect parry and the damage, I don't know. It's not worth the. Well, fair enough. If you can parry his butt slam, you can parry his headbutt. Fair enough. Put him in B tier. But I do think this is extremely strong character. I don't think you have to spam the specials to be good at the game, y'all. Now, let's get to Blanca. Because I don't want to speak on Jamie. I believe James, who I'm going to call him when I start playing him probably next week. I believe Jamie belongs in C tier. And I get the drinking system may make him better. But let's just be honest with you. A round 1 fight, if he gets mauled, I don't care what drinks he gets along the way. You have to be a much better player than your opponent for Jamie to belong in B tier. Jamie, the character, without you, stacked up against the rest of the characters, is C tier. Dare I say, probably the worst character in the game. But we're not going to speak on that. What we just did. Okay. Now, these two, Blanca and Guile. Boy, Blanca is rough. Blanca probably belongs somewhere in A or S tier. So I would love to see what Japan is seeing that got him in the middle of the road. When I see Blanca, I see a Mortal Kombat character. His air roll, I call it an air ball. I don't know what you call it, the air roll, air ball. How he can jump in the air and do an air ball. What is that? His super 2. He can chain balls together. Pause. I don't think his Blanca ball, you know, the regular holdback 4-punch ball, is fast enough to really complain about it. I think it's pretty decent move. That is safe, I hate. But, you know, if you play a Shoto, you can drag and punch it. You got time to see it. It's much more difficult. It's less difficult to deal with, in my opinion, than E Honda's headbutt. I think E Honda's headbutt is super fast. And that's why I don't really believe he belongs down here in B tier. I mean, his moves are so fast that, yeah, you don't have to spend. All right, we're getting back on E Honda. Let's stay on track. I believe with the Blanca Chan and the fact that he can jump out of trouble and then airball back, which can whip punish you. it kills a lot of offense. You have to play Blanca extremely careful because he's gonna turn a disadvantage into an advantage in the blink of an eye. So I will put Blanca somewhere in A tier. I guess you don't have to go S tier, but look, if Blanca wins Evo, look, Blanca belongs up there. He definitely belongs somewhere A tier, S tier. That's just my opinion. All right, and maybe I'll bring some of these characters that are up there back down, but the ones that are below, with the exception of E Honda and Marissa, I feel like everybody below is either B or C tier. So still going up. Okay, Gal. Gal is extremely strong. If you want to put Gal in the B tier, I can't say it. I can't say it. I believe Gal belongs in A tier. He's not S tier because S tier, I would believe that Sonic Boom would probably need better recovery. So initially when the game came out, in my mind, I'm seeing Street Fighter 4 Gal, and I'm thinking you can't punish Sonic Boom. But since Sonic Boom can be jumped in on this game in particular, I would say that Gal is not S tier. Is he A tier? Yes. Yes, he is S tier. He is very good. That's why I say I'm going on super good, S. Very good, A. B, decent, and C, A needs some buffs. I don't think Gal is decent. I think he's very good at the very least. So if you play Gal and you got really strong fundamentals and you like really, in my opinion, Gal loses when you have a mental lapse. It's so much pressure on you to play perfect with Gal, but he's built to play perfect. He has an air throw. I love it. Backbreaker. The Sonic Boom. The Sonic, what do you call that thing? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like he puts the Sonic Boom just floats in front of him. I don't know, for some reason I can't remember right now, but all his specials are useful. All his supers are useful. His anti-air game is disgusting. His spacing game, his footsies, they can be punished, but I'm just saying, like, if you just play the character perfect, which I know that's a lot to ask, but it's just really mental, like your mental fortitude. How long can you stay locked in? Gal is definitely very good. So I will put Gal A tier. Chun-Li, I would move Chun-Li down to B tier. I would move Chun-Li down to B tier for one specific reason. Chun-Li execution, which I guess is not fair because I just moved Ryu up. But Ryu is a character that's easy to execute, and I think he's just getting pushed down the tier list because people are tired of looking at him, but that actually makes no sense. It doesn't matter how boring a character is. When a character can do damage like Ryu, he has tools for every situation. You cannot objectively put Ryu at the bottom, but I'm going to say this. I can subjectively put Chun-Li in B tier because, one, her anti-air, her down kick. I'm kind of not a fan of those inputs. Not bad, it's really not bad, but Gal to charge down and hit up kick and get a flash kick. Chun-Li in Street Fighter 4 to hold down and hit up kick and get spinning bird kick as an anti-air or reversal, however you want to look at it, was so much easier than to down kick. Now, I know in your mind you're thinking down kick is pretty simple. It is, but somehow it gets botched. And I guess it's because you probably can't go into down like the diagonals. But there's going to be some inconsistencies. On inputs. We're not going to talk about it, but I was going to bring up the inconsistencies on inputs. We're not going to bring it up. All right, so I just think execution-wise, it is a lot of button pushing inputs. It's a lot of chances to drop combos with Chun-Li. She can be played perfect, and you can put her in A tier. But let's just be honest. You can move a lot of people around in this playlist if you could play perfect, which is why I brought up Manon, which is why I brought up Ryu. But the character themselves, the execution which the game admits it. Chun-Li's hard to play. But the problem is Chun-Li being this hard to play only to get middle of the road results. Gotta put her in B tier. Okay? Manon. I love Manon. I've been playing Manon. Manon. Um, Manon is weird. And you know, you always supposed to downplay your character. Manon's metal system, I have no right to put her any lower than B tier, right? She's a good character. But I'm gonna speak on some problems that I see with Manon, which is why you can't put her in A tier. She can be played to the point where she can beat everybody in the game. I agree. But as far as her in A tier, that player is in A tier. Manon is in B tier. All right. You got the player, you got the character. The character, Manon, I'm going to talk about her weaknesses, and you can overcome them. You have a drive system. You have good specials that might can overcome her basic weaknesses, but that her hardest combo button is that she only has one option, her backstand and fierce. It has no range. So a lot of times let's say I'll wall bounce somebody. Yeah, and I'm sure y'all know what a wall. Okay, you drive impact somebody they're blocking. All right. A lot of times she has a really good drive impact, but then it turns around that it's time to combo into her metal system, and the back hard punch whiffs because it has absolutely no range, which is fair, you know. But she only has one button that can combo into her throws. I'm sorry. I know that the throw is sick and you got to balance it some kind of way. And I guess you probably shouldn't buff her and give her any other buttons that can combo into it because it's all, I mean, at that point, you probably need to start looking at nerfing the actual throw. So I'm not going to say that she needs to be buffed, but I'm going to say that she doesn't belong this high on the tier list because she has to take major risks to get in. You know, she has really nice footsies, and people will back up. They'll walk themselves right into a corner fighting Manon. But Gal isn't going to walk back into a corner. You know, well, there's no point in pointing out people specific, but she struggles, in my opinion, with Gal and JP and Cammy. And I hadn't played a lot of the cast against her. I'd imagine it's character specific matchups that probably give her a hard time. I'd imagine Jury gives her a hard time, just kind of looking at the tier list. But anyway, but that's not even important. A tier list is based on how you match up with the rest of the roster, but Manon metal system kind of balances the fact that she would struggle with every character in the game if she couldn't just throw them 3 times and win a match. So I'm gonna put her in B tier, and I'm gonna say the player can play her to. Hey, look, I don't think nobody's gonna win a tournament with Manon, so I'm not gonna consider putting her in S tier. If you want to put her in A tier, look, I mean, I'm not gonna put up much of a fight. So, all right, somewhere in high B tier. Like I said, I'm not gonna put her in A tier. Anyway, JP belongs in B tier. JP will be figured out. Have I figured out JP? No. Fair enough. I know y'all in the comment section typing, you finna message me and say fight me. Look, I know I can't beat JP, but I know a character with gimmicks when I see one. This character will be figured out. And when he's figured out, it's going to be problems for whoever plays JP. So I've been studying JP. I see some of the flaws. That air throw, I mean, that's not an air throw, but his grab is definitely one. The punishing on it. The only thing that I really don't understand is the counter that he does on wake up. So he'll be eventually figured out and he'll start plummeting down the tier list to the point where people will start asking for buffs and he'll be somewhere in B tier, low B tier, C tier once the world figures out JP. Now let's speed this along. These top 5, nobody's going to dispute the top 5. There's no point in me even talking about the top 5. I'm surprised to see Cammy up there at the top. I don't know if this is in order or that they say that she's the best character in the game, but nobody's surprised to see any of these characters at the top. It'd be like beating a dead horse breaking down any of them. So the only fun I have in a tier list is talking about the low tier and will they stay low tier, and just recapping. I believe, let's say it's July. By December, Ryu will be definitely B tier, but I think he'll be moving up to A tier when people start running into him in tournaments and seeing, wow, this boring character is really good. Obviously, Marissa will be moving up. I feel like E Honda will be moving up once the spammers drop the character. Gal will move up once some of the more solid players. What's that guy name that he was in Kumite? Akanu. Most people, he played Gal perfect, even more perfect than Knuckledu. I feel like Knuckledu plays Gal strong, but Kainu is just a tier higher than Knuckledu. Hey, we can get into player tier list too if y'all want to get into that. But I feel like Blanca's gonna move up. Maybe Mina RD will make people respect him. I don't know a good Manon, so I'm pretty sure she's gonna, keep straddling B and A tier. Pause. And none of those top characters are gonna drop. So those are my thoughts on the tier list, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, and hey, I'm gonna pull out more content. I love doing tier lists. I want to do 2 more tier lists, but I ain't gonna tell y'all how they work. Y'all just have to click on the video when y'all see them. But hey, like I said, like the video, subscribe, share it. I try to break down the game to the common player level. You got a lot of tournament players running around making videos, but if you watch their videos, what understanding of the game will you get? Absolutely none. So I appreciate the people that viewed it and watched the whole video through. More content coming, y'all. I love y'all. Peace.